Hello there. We've got some contrasting weather conditions across Europe at the moment. Let's take a look at the pressure chart and I'll try and explain exactly what's happening. Quite stormy weather heading in the direction of the far northwest of Europe. Ahead of it, we've got this southwesterly flow and that's going to drive in some warmth over the next day or so across France and into Germany. At the same time, the risk of some sharp, thundery downpours across central and southern Italy as well. But the Mediterranean is a little quieter than it has been. We are picking up a few isolated showers into Turkey and mainland Greece, but pleasant enough with the low 20s here. There's those sharp showers affecting parts of southern Italy. And then we'll see a little bit of fair weather cloud across Spain and Portugal. We're not looking too bad. Wet and windy weather pushing into the UK, but ahead of it, mid-20s in France, in Germany, and also perhaps the Low Countries as well. Now that wetter weather will gradually spill its way steadily eastwards. The winds are going to increase. There will be quite a feature. We'll see gales or severe gales here with that rain, but it's still pretty warm ahead of it. Temperatures still likely to be into the mid-20s. Here's our city forecast though for the next few days. Once that rain goes through, we will see a noticeable drop in the temperature for London and for Paris as well. But further east, it looks likely to stay predominantly dry and settled, perhaps not quite as warm, low 20s for Athens. Hello there. Here's the latest then in North America, with Hurricane Michael now being downgraded to a tropical storm, still bringing some very heavy rainfall as it moves its way out of the Carolinas. At the same time, we've got Tropical Storm Sergio, which is expected to make landfall in the next 24 hours across the Baja Peninsula and expected to potentially bring some localised flash flooding here. So the story for the next few days are these two storms, one easing away quite quickly. It will merge with this cold front before it moves off into the Atlantic and still produce a lot of heavy rain. And then behind it, we've got a cold plunge of air spilling out of Canada across the Rockies and further south. Now, across the Pacific Northwest, then, we'll continue to see some rain threatening parts of British Columbia. Vancouver should be largely fine and dry into Oregon and parts of California. A similar story as well, with a light breeze just coming from inland. It does look as though those temperatures are still likely to be into the mid-60s in San Francisco, perhaps easing a touch for the start of the weekend. Let's move across the east coast, and you can see on Thursday still a lot of heavy rain, all tied into that cold front, merging with what is now the remnants of Michael. So some heavy flash flooding rains still quite possible, and then behind it that cold plunge of air starting to make its presence felt with that northerly feel. So you really will start to see it, but it will take its time before it arrives. So Atlanta, Georgia, still into the mid-70s. Hello there. I suppose the most striking weather story to come out of South America at the moment are the temperatures across Paraguay and Argentina. They're going to be a good 5 to 10 degrees above where they should be for this time of year. Satellite picture shows some shower cloud, yes, particularly down to the southern tip of Chile, and also particularly, as you can see, through the Amazon basin. Also got some pretty intense showers over the next couple of days across central and southern parts of Brazil. So this is it in a little more detail. Some of these showers quite heavy with rumbles of thunder mixed in there. We will pick up a few showers, as I say, across central and southern Brazil. But then once you get into Paraguay, Uruguay and Argentina, those temperatures into the mid-20s. That's quite unusual for this time of year. Further south of that, some showery outbreaks of rain into southern Chile. It's quite windy with it as well. And that's the story across the Falkland Isles too. So Rio de Janeiro keeps some showers over the next few days. Buenos Aires sees an improving picture, 27 degrees, the high here. As I say, temperatures way above the average. Now for Mexico and for Central America, it's quite a volatile story at the moment. Some pretty heavy rain, particularly down into Costa Rica and Panama. And that's going to be the story as well into the Caribbean. Plenty of sharp showers. Temperatures here slightly above the average as well. So it does look as though those showers will remain pretty frequent over the next few days. There will be some sunny spells as well, though. Hello there. Let's take a look at the weather forecast then for Asia, and it's a quieter story in comparison to the weather that they've seen recently. As you can see quite clearly on the satellite picture, there's some shower clouds through parts of Indonesia, and also we've got a fair amount of cloud across southern China, but generally to the north of that cloud, high pressure is building and quietening things down across much of northern, central China, Korean Peninsula, and also into Japan. It's a little bit cooler than it has been. Temperatures perhaps peaking into the low 20s. Now that stripe of cloud, a little bit of fair weather cloud into southern China, a few showers into Vietnam and northern Thailand, but further south of that, that's where we see the real cluster of showers, particularly Malaysia and Indonesia. The city forecast for the next few days shows a good deal of dry, fine weather, a few isolated showers into Bangkok, Seoul, seeing some beautiful blue sky and sunshine, but as I say, a little bit colder here. Now across to Australia, largely fine and quiet, a little bit of showery rain starting to threaten Western Australia and some torrential thundery downpours across that Queensland coast close to Brisbane. But elsewhere, it's largely a fine, settled story. Some stormy weather into New Zealand, particularly the South Island, and with a southerly wind, we are seeing some snow, particularly to the tops of higher ground. So it's cold here, and it will continue to be so over the next few days, slowly improving into Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. Hello there. Plenty to talk about in South Asia at the moment. Let's take a look at a satellite picture. And I just want to point out Luban that's affecting perhaps the Arabian Peninsula over the next couple of days, because that's driving in some rough seas across the west coast here. But the real action is through the Bay of Bengal, where the storm system is bringing some very heavy rain across parts of Bangladesh and up into Myanmar, and also out of Orissa, as you can see, up into West Bengal as well. So we'll need to keep an eye on that, I suspect, over the next couple of days. Could bring the potential for some further flooding issues. Up into the north, it's all about the temperatures now as a cold front moves through Kazakhstan, and that's going to bring a lowering of temperatures only at around 10 to 12 degrees as a maximum. To the south of that front, we are seeing some warmth and a drier weather story. Now it's fine and settled across Pakistan, northwest India. Don't forget I talked about those rough seas though across that west coast, all tied in to Luban that's out in the Arabian Sea at the moment. And there's the heavy rain moving out of Orissa and up into West Bengal. Here's the story for the next few days for the city forecast then. A good deal of showery weather continues into Colombo as Islamabad keeps the blue sky and sunshine. Elsewhere, it looks likely that we'll continue to see a good deal of sunshine with temperatures into the mid-30s for New Delhi by the middle of the afternoon. Hello there. All eyes are focused in the Arabian Sea at the moment with tropical cyclone Luban, which is pretty slow moving, but that means it continues to intensify. You can see it quite clearly on the satellite picture. It is moving in a slow northwesterly direction, expected to make landfall close to that Yemen coastline late on Friday into the early hours of Saturday morning. We are looking at huge storm surge here on the low-lying coastal areas and significant rainfall totals as well, which is certainly going to cause an issue. Now, elsewhere, it does look likely that the temperatures will be the talking point across Iraq and parts of northern Saudi Arabia, 5 to 7 degrees above where they should be for this time of year. Let's move away from the Middle East now and look at what to expect in Africa through Friday and into the weekend. Well, it looks largely fine and quiet up into the north. We've got our seasonal rains across that Ivory coastline through the Gulf of Guinea over towards parts of Sierra Leone. South of that, we've got some showery outbreaks of rain moving out of South Africa and affecting Johannesburg as well. City forecasts look like this though. Good deal of dry weather in the story. Dhaka seeing blue sky, sunshine, and temperatures look likely to peak at 31 degrees. To the north of that, it's hotter still perhaps in Khartoum with temperatures peaking into the high 30s, but there will be a few sharp showers to come into Kinshasa.